Hey, welcome to another sketchbook tour. I know this isn't the usual content people sign up for, but every now and then I need to release myself from the comfort of drawing with a tablet and torture myself with traditional drawing instead, because I'd like to keep improving in both mediums. So for the month of February, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I decided to draw a fictional couple for each day of the month, hence the name Shipuary. Haha, so clever, not really. Some of these couples are more canon than others, and a lot of these are characters I shipped many years ago, so you might see a bunch of throwbacks. Alright, here we go. So for day one, I started off with my personal favorite childhood ship, Toro and Kyo from the anime Fruits Basket, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, is getting a reboot this year, and I'm so beyond excited for it. I'm actually going to see a premiere of the first 2 episodes later next month in theaters, and I'm probably most definitely going to cry because this anime was such a huge part of my elementary life. Another childhood ship, Starfire and Robin from Teen Titans. Starfire was my favorite character from the show because of how adorably bubbly and sweet she was, and I'm hoping sometime in the near future they bring back or revamp the old art style because I miss it. This one is, I think, technically not canon, but I remember after watching Spirited Away for the first time when I was like 9, I had a huge crush on Haku, and I wanted him and Chihiro to be together so bad. That one scene at the end where she lets go of his hand still wrecks me years later. Of course, I had to include the iconic couple Yuri and Victor from Yuri on Ice. My friend Soleil had me binge this show with her a year or 2 ago, and I remember one of my favorite scenes was when Yuri yanked on Victor's tie, so this is a reference to that part. The next one is Sasahara and Misato from my personal favorite anime Nichijou. They're not really canon, but I loved Misato's over-exaggerated tsundere habits, and her interactions with him are so much fun to watch. I highly recommend Nichijou if you haven't seen it yet. Taki and Mitsuha from the movie Your Name, otherwise known as Kimi no Na wa. I loved this movie to bits, and I really want to talk about this scene, but I also don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, so if you haven't seen it, please watch it, if not for the story, at least for how beautifully animated it is. Anyways, here's a Clamp throwback, Chi and Hideki from Chobits. I'm sure most of us who are familiar with this has read or watched the series when we were far too young for it, but I'm a sucker for Clamp's art style, and I loved Chi's design. Hideki, on the other hand, is pretty unspectacular, but I think that was the point of his design? I'm not sure. Next is Ruby and Sapphire from Steven Universe. This show has made me cry many times, and these two are so cute together. A lot of people on Twitter requested Steven and Connie, but like Ruby and Sapphire had a whole wedding, so I had to draw them. This ship is also technically not canon, and I know it's super safe and typical, but Uraraka is my favorite character, and I really want her and Deku to end up together. I'm actually super behind on the show, so I've got some catching up to do in between videos. I'm sure you all saw this one coming from the 2 biggest stickers on the front of the sketchbook. I'm a huge sucker for really cute and awkward interactions in the show, so I drew a situation where Adrien might accidentally fall asleep on Marinette's shoulder and how she'd probably lose her mind over it. Falling asleep on a love interest's shoulder is actually one of my favorite overdone romantic tropes. This was also a really popular ship people brought up on Twitter, so of course I had to draw our 2 lovely bisexual ladies. This particular pairing made me realize how much I wanted more stories where opposite ends of the love triangles end up together, because I feel like that's such a bizarre yet satisfying outcome. What do you think? So I know romance isn't really a big part of the League of Legends lore, but Ezreal and Lux are by far my favorite pairing in the entire game, so I decided to draw them in my favorite skins. Bonus Jinx in the background because I kinda sorta ship Star Guardian Jinx and Star Guardian Lux together too. Ah yes, a throwback to a wildly inappropriate show, but still a super cute pairing, in my opinion. I don't think Panty and Stocking is ever going to get a second season, which is a shame because I would have loved to see more of these 2. So of course, on Valentine's Day, I had to draw my favorite fictional couple of all time, Toki and Nabi from the Flash series There She Is. I've mentioned my love for these 2 multiple times on my channel, and I'm gonna do it again, so if you haven't seen There She Is, I urge you to watch it because it's absolutely adorable and it's basically timeless, and I'm gonna drop a link in the description so you can check it out. Here we have Peter B. Parker and Mary Jane from Into the Spider-Verse, which won an Oscar, by the way. I am very happy about that. This movie was phenomenal, and I think I ended up watching it like 5 times in theaters, and I bought the art book afterwards. And yes, I plan on buying the DVD too. I just really loved it, okay? Next, we have Toya and Yukito from Cardcaptor Sakura. This is one of those couples where I didn't really notice the romance when I was younger, either because it was too subtle or because the English dub completely removed any hints that they had feelings for each other. But it made me appreciate it more when I finally picked up on it years later. Miu Ichigo and Kishu from Tokyo Mew Mew. They're not canon and it's one-sided, but I think most of us can agree that Ichigo's main love interest is about as interesting as a slice of bread in both personality and character design, so I can absolutely understand why Kishu is the more popular one. And honestly, I feel like even Ryo is a more suitable potential love interest than the main guy, but whatever, we can only dream. For Naruto and Hinata, I drew their younger selves because I was obsessed with Naruto in 6th grade, and Hinata was my favorite character, and I wanted nothing more than for Naruto to notice her. Unfortunately, I stopped keeping up with the series after a few years, but I was pleasantly surprised to later find out that they got married. Yay! Of course, I have no idea what happened before all of that. Mulan is one of my favorite Disney films of all time, so of course I had to draw Shang and Mulan. I wanted to capture his awkwardness and her bold energy, so bam, there you go. Also, I'm really not looking forward to the live-action remake because I feel like all of the Disney live-action remakes are super unnecessary and add nothing to the originals. But you know what? I'll probably still watch it anyway because it's Mulan. Some of you may recognize this couple from my video talking about Webtoon. I've been keeping up with Lore Olympus every single week and I love it so much. I also realized that Hades and Persephone have a much bigger height difference in the Webtoon, and I made Persephone a bit too tall, but I can't erase it, so it is what it is. Adding yet another throwback ship to the list, this one is Tamaki and Haruhi from Ouran High School Host Club. I know Tamaki is usually the flirty and overly forward one, so I switched the roles around, and I'd say it's still pretty in character for Tamaki. I don't have much to say about this one, except that I think Haida would most definitely be the type to be overprotective of Retsuko, and I think they're super cute together, even though the romance is currently one-sided. But with the upcoming new season, I'm hoping to see some sort of progression in their friendship and or relationship. I love The Cat Returns, and even though these two characters have barely any screen time, they're both so pure and so cute, and I needed to draw them. Also, if you haven't seen The Cat Returns, I highly recommend that one as well, especially if you like cats. Also, the English dub is absolutely fantastic. Seriously. Now, this pairing breaks my heart, but I have to include it because I invested too much of my emotional energy into it. It's been like 2 years since Samurai Jack officially ended, but that finale still hurts a lot. For day 25, I drew Eleven and Mike in their dance clothes. Season 2 of Stranger Things made me laugh, cry, scream, and fall in love with Steve, so I'm really excited for Season 3. Also, if you haven't guessed already, my favorite character is Steve. I don't remember much from Full Metal Alchemist, but I do remember Ed's incredibly awkward and adorable proposal. Absolutely precious. I'm such a sucker for really awkward confession scenes. Day 26 is dedicated to Emmett and Elle from Legally Blonde, specifically the musical version. To be honest, I've never actually seen the original 2001 movie version, but I feel like I've gotten so attached to the musical that I just wouldn't enjoy the movie as much if I saw it now. And lastly, the oldest pairing I've ever shipped, Ash and Misty. Now, to my understanding, they never became a couple, and I don't think they're canon, but I remember as a kid, I shipped the crap out of these two. When I was like 8, my friends and I would pretend to be Pokemon trainers, and since the boy I had a crush on at the time would claim the role of Ash, I always claimed the role of Misty. What a dork. I haven't kept up with Pokemon in like a decade, but whatever, I still ship them. Still counts. And that concludes my February sketchbook tour. Hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble for however long this video is, and let me know what your all-time favorite fictional pairing is. Okay, bye.